All right, man, what's happening? It's your boy, Cool Water, the Digital Dope Man. Once again, live and direct, back on the microphone. In another episode of the Ballroom Chats podcast, where we talk about topics in the area of entertainment, politics, culture, business, health. The Ballroom Chats podcast can be found on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, under Barroom Chats or Cool Water Tracks. Also, you can look for us at ishiphopdead.com or thedigitaldopeman.com to check out podcasts that you can't find on their platforms. So, today I had to get back on the microphone and talk about this video that everybody's been ranting and raving about. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, the WAP is what I believe it's called, is how you pronounce that. And add my 2 cents. It's been a lot of mixed emotions about the video, about what people believe should be appropriate and what people shouldn't believe to be appropriate, yada, yada, yada. And me being an artist myself, or hip-hop, rap artist, you know, I lean towards the artistic expression, and then there's times when I lean away from it. So we're going to delve into it real quick, talk about some things, and see what's going on with the video. One of the things that I think is most important is really understanding where the climate of the country is right now. And that is racial tension, racial turmoil, black male death, executions, lynchings that have been going on against black people, black men, black women, really now coming up probably almost on 10 years, quietly 10 years, but it's been magnified real strong within the last probably 3 years. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, the list goes on and on, man. I mean, Ahmaud Arbery, I mean, the list goes on and on. So with that type of climate in America and releasing a video like this, it turns some people's stomach inside out. Now, the video is one of those situations where it revolves around hoeing. I mean, let's just keep it 100, you know. Now, I'm from the 90s generation of hip hop, and you probably can't get a more real, authentic connection to the hip hop culture than you did in the 90s. Luther Campbell was the architect, the godfather of Big Booty Hoes. The 2 Live Crew, they probably were the godfathers of the freak culture in hip hop because they took the black woman and exploited her beauty. Now, they didn't do it, I don't think, to the magnitude where when we were young, we were totally disgusted at the nature of the way Luke might have been moving. You know, Big Booty Hoes, and a host of other songs he did. We looked at them as classic songs. The women were naked, in so many words. but they were objects of beauty that was being exploited. So now that I'm older, I can look back at them songs and I can snicker and giggle and laugh and say, okay, you know, it was what it was. Luke was kind of more of the X-rated porn rapper, if you will, during that time period. But it was so much balance in society with the music that it was like going to a smorgasbord. You got to pick your choice. You wanted hardcore gangster rap, you hollered at Ice-T, you hollered at Ice Cube, you hollered at maybe Schoolie D. If you wanted you know, some conscious, you know, you did the KRS-Ones, you did the might have been the Queen Latifahs, the Jungle Brothers. You know, then if you wanted some, you know, I Need Love, you know, you hollered at LL Cool J or a rapper in that realm like your man from New York, Lolly Dolly, and I can't think of his name. It'll come to me. We had a smorgasbord of rap music that allowed us to really pick and choose. So the climate and the music were compatible to each other. Today it's not the case. The music is one way. It's all D-boy talk, hoe talk, and nothing else. Nothing to raise the consciousness of the people, because the music industry, they didn't want that. See, once they got a hold of the music in the 90s, because it was an experiment, they didn't really know. The corporations looked at it and said, well, let's see what it do. And once they figured out what it did, then it was a situation where, oh, okay, you know, we gonna have to work on this, because we're not in the business of uplifting black culture. Uplifting black culture would bring a black consciousness that they didn't want to seep through to the youth, because the youth is what drive hip hop. You see? So coming out the civil rights, going into the 70s, right, the disco era, and then going from the disco era into the 80s with the crack era, and then gangster rap along with conscious rap intermingling, it was we got to cancel one for the other. You see, Run DMC spitting that juice, KRS-One spitting that juice, Queen Latifah spitting that juice, MC Lyte, the list goes on. Biggie Smalls, all these folks brought a certain element. And then the West Coast, what they did, in my personal opinion, is they took it to a higher height, because they exploited the music in such a way where they gave it to you with no condom on. It was raw. You feel me? So but even the gangster rappers, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Ice-T, hell, Too Short even had conscious with, you know, talking about the ghetto. It paralleled the culture. It paralleled what was going on in society. So it might have been where, you know, you might have been talking some shit on the mic, but then you came right back, and then you might have had a song that really inspired folks to go get it. That's not really the case right now. So when you look out in today's society, 2020, and you have a song like The WAP with Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and it's talking about hoeing and sucking the penis and you know, exploiting sexuality to its maximum. Well, that's porn. Cardi B, talking the talk. And I need somebody that's going to hit this and do this, and I'm going to lick that and do that. Okay, well, that's soft porn. But it's soft porn in such a way that it is some point in most people's eyes almost slutty and derogatory in a sense because the artistic value of it is diminished. Now, these are artists. They're expressing themselves, and everybody feels that an artist has the right to express themselves, and I can agree. You know what I'm saying? But we got to go back and reel the tape backwards, and let's look at the whole archetype. The whole culture started with some of these female rappers coming out the strip club. Some of these female rappers starting the whole culture in hip hop. So now you got Eve, who came out the strip club and she got on the mic. Lil Kim was the goddess, if you will, of the whole culture. Because she pushed the envelope so far up your ass with the stuff that she was doing that it spawned little bitty babies after her to continue to want to push that envelope because they say sex sells. So if sex sells, and it's one of those things where people feel like seeing the ass, the titties, and the coochie is going to sell records. Okay, well they gonna push that envelope. So this is what you have here in the WAP video, in my personal opinion. It's taken black women to a place that might not necessarily be a positive place because there's no balance in the music in hip-hop culture. It's one way or the other. Either he's selling dope or she hoeing. It ain't no in between. Ain't no conscious rap. Ain't nobody really talking about what's going on. So, like a Lupe Fiasco, they pushed him out the music business. They didn't want to release dual records. You see what I'm saying? Because he, Common, who was, spitting that juice way back when, is old school. But in the same sentence, Common wasn't, he was kind of more of a rapper that would have been considered second and third tier. Like he was known, he was good, but he wasn't your first choice. He wasn't the first choice. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at this whole situation is one of those things where, is this music appropriate for the time? And the answer to that would be no. Because the lives that's being killed, the people that are being murdered, it don't fit the time period. This song might have been cool 5, 6, 7 years back when we didn't have all this turmoil. You see? When there wasn't no turmoil. So people are like, ugh, because of the shit that's coming out of their mouth, and then that's their selling point. They ass. Now, Cardi B can flow, but the word is she ain't writing most of her raps. Somebody else writing them raps. Megan Thee Stallion, she done came out on the whole archetype. Because that's what she talk about. Sucking dick, getting her pussy licked. That's her MO. That's her whole persona. So we kind of know what we gonna get from Megan. We kind of know what we gonna get from Cardi. But Cardi done had a couple of albums and shit. You be like, okay, this, she got a little flow. But he was on something else. But this song has shown the black woman again in its lowest light. That you ain't nothing but a hoe. This is what the music industry will promote before they promote you being at the top of the food chain and being the queen that you supposedly are. They gonna put you in the hoe archetype before they put you in the queen archetype, because they don't want you getting back to the culture. See? They don't want you getting back to who you really are. The woman that populated the earth. And all cultures come from. So Lil Kim, she started it, in my personal opinion. She started the whole culture in hip hop. Foxy Brown didn't really come through real heavy like that. She showed a little skin, but she didn't really rock like Lil Kim. Lil Kim got pictures. I got albums, man, with Lil Kim and posters, man. Lil Kim got her motherfucking legs spread, bruh. And with the panties on and the bra. And then Nicki Minaj, she spun off that same photo. And then she did her own little jump off. You did. It was the same thing. Same move. So they trying to do the sex sales routine. But it has a place when the time and the atmosphere and society as a whole is not as in pain as it is right now. Folks out here in pain. So the soft porn, the whole culture move, you know, black women being put out as sluts and hoes, it don't fit. See, music is about timing. As an artist, you got to know when to time the record. This is not the record that you put out right now. Yep, they got a lot of conversation going. They got a lot of, people talking about, ugh, damn, that's nice. But as you progress and grow as a person, and even as an artist, you see the flaws in the game. This just wasn't a record. They could have. What if they would have got together and did a record about police brutality? See. What if they ever got together, did a record about single mothers raising children and needing a man in the home? Would the record industry embrace that? Would people run to that? Would they? They could have been hardcore. It could have been hardcore. It could have been real hardcore, raw, unadulterated, still same style that you get from them, but the message was what it was. See? And that's the issue. The music industry is about the demoralization of black women, period. That's why, saying I'm guilty of it. I mean, I got records when you're calling women out their name. Some of it was out of pain. Some of it was, was just the term of the day. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the whole issue is who created the whole culture in the music business? Who created the culture where this is what the thing to do? You feel me? That this is priority over anything else. Then you have to look at the video, and you look at the video and you see the play on the bisexual nature of the women. You feel me? You see the play in that. You see the little hidden innuendos where, I got both of y'all running up on each other, y'all grabbing each other, y'all holding each other. Okay, well, that's on play on bisexuality. See? That's a play on bisexuality. That's a play on where it's a situation where, it's cool for you to dabble in any way you want to dabble when you're doing your female sexuality. You feel me? You can dabble with the man, but then you can also dabble with the woman too, because that's okay. That's so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how you dabble, long as you dabble. And then the real issue is we have to take it back and you say, well, the little girls is looking at this. This is the mentality that they're going to gravitate towards when they doing their thing with their little men or their little male friends or their female friends. This is what they're going to dabble towards, because at the end of the day, it's okay if you like girls. It's okay if you like boys. Either one of them gonna be just fine. You see, so That really is the issue. See, black female rappers and the whole culture has always been a growing concern in the music business. Lil Kim, she made her money off of that. She done made her money off of presenting the whole culture. You know, Megan Thee Stallion, she making her money off of presenting the whole culture. Nicki Minaj doing the whole culture. Then you got to go behind the layer and say, well, who is advising these people that these are the songs that's really going to be the one for you? We want to push the envelope. It's ways of pushing the envelope without being so derogatory that it might put you in a situation where your reputation and demeanor and the stigmatism that you have are placed on you for life. And this is how you roll. This how you roll. And people only remember you for one thing. You see what I'm saying? And that's one of the biggest issues that you have out here. So
Disney Plus? Yes, please.
I think I think Lil Kim is to blame for that. Now, the real trick pony, one trick pony that they put in there was Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner is the sisters, the little sisters of Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian. And everybody knows the Kardashians have made their money off of cultural appropriation. They date black men. They do little moves, little innuendos that people look and say, okay, she biting. Because they're not talented. Kylie Jenner getting in the video and people becoming upset or even questioning why she's in the video was a power move. And like some people say it, I'm going to agree with. One, is to associate herself with black culture so she can transcend them barriers and sell whatever product and service she got to black women. Because some black women will take what Cardi has, because her sisters are already doing it, and look at that and say, man, this is cool. I wouldn't mind being associated with that brand, right? But then Kylie Jenner also wants to be looked at as hip and cool. So what better way to be looked at as hip and cool, you feel me, if you unless you hanging out with some black folks who are already termed to be hip and cool. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, that was a power move. Now, the real drawback to that is that
3 months of Disney Plus?
The real drawback to that is that white America looks at Kylie Jenner as a business. She's not a hoe. Kim Kardashian ain't looked at as a hoe. In black America, we look at Kim as a hoe. Because she done fooled with several other brothers and then been tossed around. Nick Cannon, she fooled with, she married to Kanye. Then she got with Brandy little brother, Ray J. And as a result, she done been, Reggie Bush, she done been with some folks. So we look at her as a hoe in black culture. Kylie Jenner coming up in the game and really exploiting her so-called sexuality and her sex appeal and being married or being affiliated with a black man and having a child only puts her in the position of her being so-called deemed cool by black America, or should I say by white America, because they looking at her is, oh, she hanging out with the black folk and they got all the style, the flavor. So the cultural appropriation signal stigmatism is probably appropriate, even though she ain't stole a whole lot yet. Now, I don't follow her because she's somewhat younger. You feel me? But at the end of the day, we look at Kim Kardashian, we say, well, Kim done done a whole lot of slick shit that she probably need her ass towed up for. You see? So, Cardi come in, even though she made the cameo, she still looked clean cut, womanly, professional, hair done, nails done, body laid, and she just showing a little ass, little cleavage, and she makes her exit. But the video is representation of hoes, soft porn, oral sex, bisexuality. That's what it's about. But in white America, she'll never get that stigmatism. In black America, we like, why are you in the video? But again, you got to talk to the two people that ran the show, which is Megan and Cardi, because they wanted her in the video. You see, that's their partner. And these are some young girls. They young. They in their early 20s. They mid 20s. You feel me? So not to be long-winded, because I done been on here almost 30 minutes, man. The WAP female rappers in the hoe culture. That's what this is going to be called. The music industry is not about presenting women, particularly black women, in the hip-hop culture as classy, intelligent women. It's not part of their business model. It doesn't sell records. The black women that do acquire record deals and become affiliated with the music industry knows they're going to have to hoe to get to where they want to go. A lot of these women got stories that they'll never tell the public because people wouldn't believe it because of the shit that they had to do. You got to get on the casting couch. All the dudes that they done fucked. All the women they done slept with. You feel me? Bisexual, whatever you want to call it. To get to this money, this fiat, and rise to fame and fortune. Because that's what the script has been handed down by any means necessary to get out of this. So either I do this or I live in poverty, live in the ghetto for the rest of my life. And I ain't finna do that. And I got kids to feed. But then on top of that, it's also the situation where, again, the music does not fit the time. This video doesn't fit the nature of what's going on in society. The culture itself is hurting. And y'all put out two attractive women talking about hoeing. So that's where a lot of the stomach turning and churning and all that shit is coming from, because it don't coincide. This a club jam. This a banger for the club. This ain't a popular jam that you put out in the mass for people to really take and delve into and really ride around, walk around the house. This ain't one of them jams. This soft porn. And as an artist, we got a right to express ourselves. But as an artist, you also got to know what you got to play chess moves. This chess over checkers. So y'all look like y'all cool and it's okay, but really, to another segment of the population, we looking at y'all, we might be saying, shit, y'all ain't about shit. Because you ain't contributing nothing to the culture right now. Now, Cardi B has made several statements about politics and things, and she feel that, and that's cool. She's showing her intellectual side. But in reality, in the long run, you know what I mean? Your body of work got to speak differently if you are to maintain the legendary status that you really trying to obtain. If you're trying to get to the legendary status. You feel me? The legendary status. You could look at Ice Cube records and he was talking political in the records long before before it became popular. But he was spawning off of Chuck D and what they did. See? Chuck and them was doing that. Cube got his lesson from Chuck. So all the records wasn't talking about bitches and hoes. He got a catalog that's diverse. You dig? And that's what these two ladies don't have. Because the younger you are, the more removed you are from the educational system and critical and thinking and analytical skills. There is no conscious rap. And the conscious rap that may be out there now, man, that shit is underground, underneath somebody's foot. They not letting that shit ride. The closest person you got that might be spitting a couple of bars is old boy that came out of Compton. Man, I gotta get him because I'm sitting here tripping. Let me see real quick, and I'm gonna tell you, Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is probably one of the closest. He done dropped a couple of records that had a little conscious, and we was like, okay, I'm feeling that. But he coming up off the heels of cats like Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. He getting the memo from them. You did? So that's one of the things that we have to take a serious look at when we start talking about what's going on with the WAP and why the video is what it is and why the video ain't. Somebody like Kylie Jenner, she made the cameo and she gonna be revered as a legend for being in that video because in white America, it makes her cool. It makes her hip. It gives her culture. It gives her swag. So the cultural appropriation that the Negroes is talking about, it has validity because that's how the Kardashians came up. They buy a couple of styles, make it their own, and keep pushing. And then they don't get nothing back to the culture. Even though Kim might be out there trying to help with black rights, civil rights, prison reform, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't give anything back to the culture that we can take and hold up and say, okay, she's contributing to the culture. She's not an African. She's not an African. You understand? She's not an African. So even though we had artists like Luther Campbell, Eve, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, who may be a little raunchy, we had a balance in the culture, and the music spoke to the culture. It spoke to what was going on in society. That's not what's going on today. People in pain. So when you put tracks out like this, it just really diminishes the quality of the person that you are by those that have a higher consciousness. To the dum-dums and the folks who operate on that 5th grade thinking level, they'll look at this and say, oh man, this is the best thing smoking. You did. So this gonna be my take on the WAP, female rappers in the whole culture, because that at the end of the day, that's typically what we dealing with. We dealing with some real nonsense in the music business because this is what they do. And some of these artists don't have the power to really make that move anyway because they ain't in control. They just follow the script. So let me know what you think. It's Cool Water, the Digital Dope Man. Check me out the blog, Is Hip Hop Dead? Look for me at the home base site, thedigitaldopeman.com. And think about this. It ain't always about the money. Sometimes the mission is greater than the money. And you have to forego the money in order to accomplish the mission. Because at the end of the mission, the money will become to you anyway. So keep that in mind. Hey man, I'm out. Peace. Holla. Stay blessed.